House of Cards podcast, the show where we break down the art of creative real estate investing. Join us as we dive into the world of real estate with insider tips and tricks for making your investments go further. From buying with no money down to flipping properties for profit, we've got you covered. Plus, stay tuned for expert guest speakers who will share their knowledge and experience in this ever-changing market. So grab a seat and get ready to learn the secrets to success in real estate investing. And now, from Alaska to New York, your hosts, Chris James and Jesse Stanton.
Yo, let's go. What's going on, fam? Sean Clark is back. What's going on, buddy? Happy Saturday to you guys. Hope you guys are having a wonderful, wonderful day so far. Dude, this has been an amazing week. Had a really great day yesterday. I had three things that I want to talk to you guys about today. And as you guys are getting in here, guys, as you guys are coming in here, get into the chat. Let me see who's here. I want to interact with you guys as much as absolutely possible. Ken Wilson, good morning to you, my brother. Good morning. Good morning. I love you. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you. I had an interesting, I did a thing yesterday that I'm going to share with you guys about. But before I do that real quick, let me give you some context. Allison, what's going on, my friend? How are you? How are you? Thank you guys for being here. I'm going to share a story with you guys really quick. Back in November of 2022. So basically going out here in just a few months, it'll be 2 years. Alan, what's going on, dude? Thank you for being here, my brother. Love you, bro. November of 2022, I had something interesting happen. I've got 4 kids, as you guys know. I had 2 of them at school, and I had my younger 2. I had my 2-year-old and my 4. Nope. I guess she would have been 1 and 3 2 years ago. Yeah. So I had my youngest 2, my 1-year-old and my 3-year-old with me. And my wife wasn't working, so she was at home that day. And we decided to run to Soda, or before we went to go pick up our kids from school, we were like, hey, why don't we take the kids over to Sonic? Let's get them let's go get at the time, they had, oh man, what kind of drink was it? They had this special drink they were running at Sonic, and I don't remember what it was. It wasn't a Dirty Coke. For anybody who was going to ask, it wasn't a Dirty Coke. But anyway, we were going to run to Sonic real quick, grab my wife and I a drink and the kids a cherry Sprite, and then go and run to school and pick up the kids. Pretty typical day. Woo! Excuse me. So I load up my wife and I load up my 2 kids. I've got them in the car seats. I go ahead and put them in my Durango, and we back out of the driveway, and we head down to the street, or we head down the street in front of our house, get to the next intersection. We take a left, and we hit that road for about a mile. And my wife and I were just having a discussion about everything, just recently gotten out of the Air Force, and things were good. I love being able to have conversations with my wife like that, where we can just dream. That's what I love most about one of the things I really love about our relationship is that's one thing that my wife and I love to do is anytime that we ever go out on a date together, anytime we're together, we get to dream together. We get to talk about the life that we're wanting to build. And she's my best friend. And I love that we have that. And we were having a similar conversation about just the things that we were wanting to do and the way that we were wanting to build our life. And because we still had kids in school, we thought about, hey, maybe we'll homeschool our kids and we can literally go do anything we want. We can hook up the camper, go do all these things. So we're having this really nice conversation. And as we're driving down the road, we're going down this long road. And then there's another road that comes to a T with it. And there was a glass company who owned the van, and we're driving down the road, and they ran the stop sign and hit us. We were going about 50 miles an hour. They hit us and totaled the Durango. We ran right off the road. And it was just the scariest thing as a father to experience that, and ran us right off the road into the ditch, airbags deployed. And it's the scariest thing to have a 1-year-old and a 3-year-old back there. And obviously that's the very first thing you think about. I was like, okay, is my wife okay? Are my kids okay? As you can imagine, it's pretty chaotic. Everybody's kind of in panic mode. And I reached back there, I grabbed my 2 kids. And luckily they were fine. My wife got pretty banged up because she was driving and it hit her on her side. And we took our kids. Somebody stopped so we could, and they invited us to come sit in their car while we waited for the paramedics, the ambulance, the cops, everybody to show up. And unbeknownst to me, if you guys don't have an Apple Watch, like, get an Apple Watch. I had no idea that these things had this ability, but as I'm waiting there, I mean, maybe 5 minutes had passed by this point for me to be able to pull my kids out. I had to climb in the back seat and grab my kids out. And by the time we sat down, and obviously, as you can imagine, everybody's pretty hysterical. And we're just waiting in the back of this lady's car. And I hear somebody saying, hello, sir, are you okay? Are you okay? And I looked down at my Apple Watch, and somehow it knew that I had been in a wreck and automatically connected me to 911. They'd been on the call for who knows how long. And we were able to get them there, and man, it was just a great realization. I'm grateful for the opportunity that I had to be able to reflect on that and to appreciate the fact that it was just one of those count your blessing type of moments, you know. My wife still has issues with her shoulder, but my goodness, like everything happens for a reason, you know. And it was a big, obviously, reset for our family to have somebody hit us, total our Durango, and be able to reflect on that in a positive way. You know, it's easy to get mad at the person who ran the stop sign and start assigning blame, but that's not what happened at all. And it was just kind of a neat experience to go through. In a weird way. That sounds weird saying that, but it was an interesting experience to be able to reflect on. Like, let me say it that way. It was an interesting experience to be able to reflect on and see where the positivity was. You know, when I think back to, I mean, how grateful am I that I even had a car that I could fit all of my kids in and take my family in, and that vehicle served its purpose, not only for us to be able to get out and to do the things and to travel and to see Alaska, but in the event that we got hit, which we did, we got our Durango was totaled. I'm so grateful that we were all in a vehicle that had the safety ratings that it did. That, you know, my wife is a nurse, and I mean, before we went to go pick up on car seats and all this other kind of things, like, she did all these checks and balances and safety ratings and all these things to make sure that in the event of something like this ever happened, that everybody would be okay. And so just looking back at that experience, you know, a lot of times being an entrepreneur, we look at events in our life and we think, man, I'm not where I want to be. I'm not where I should be. You know, why can't I have this? But being able to look at that, man, I was just so grateful that I was even able to get into a vehicle that kept my entire family safe should that happen. Now, moving forward from that, now we've got to replace our family vehicle. So as an entrepreneur, when somebody says things like, you need to 10x your business, you need to 10x your growth, you need to 10x this, 10x is like it's kind of an overused buzzword almost at this point. I think you guys would agree. And when people say you need to 10x, it kind of gets lost in translation, I think. And it just becomes kind of this watered down thing. I know for me, at one point in my life, everybody kept saying 10x, 10x, 10x. And I'm like, dude, I'm just trying to figure out how to make $5,000 a month. You know, I'm getting up early and I'm staying up late and doing all the things to try to figure out how to make $5,000 a month. I had a conversation with somebody this morning And they were kind of telling me what's going on in their business. And I'm like, dude, I get it. My first year in real estate, I spent a year working my ass off just to make $1,200. I worked a year before I got my first deal to make $1,200. I get it. I totally understand. And when you hear people, when you're in that position, you hear people talking about, 10xing your business. The last thing on your mind is getting even bigger than where you are right now, because you're just trying to figure out how to make $5,000. And not to downplay $5,000. What I'm trying to put into perspective is what your potential is. And so going through that experience taught me something. And moving forward out of that experience, when I looked at my goals and the things I wanted to accomplish very, very differently. And I want to share something with you because it ties into something that happened for me yesterday. Everybody has these opportunities all around them to 10x their business. They're literally all around you. You just haven't developed yourself into the type of person that's capable of seeing those opportunities. You've limited yourself and your limiting beliefs and your mindset to where the filter in which you see opportunity and relationships and money and all these things is from a very low frequency. So everybody has these things all around them, but because the way in which you're operating, which you're thinking, has literally nothing to do with where you are in your business or anything like that. It's simply just because of the filter in which you see opportunity through. You will never get $1 more than you think you are worth. Let me just say that. And these opportunities are all around us. And as we needed to replace this family vehicle now, we started naturally just looking at other vehicles. Started thinking, am I a van guy now? Am I a van dad? Like, do I go buy a van? Am I that guy now? Or do I go buy a Suburban? Do I go buy this oversized, SUV where I feel like I've got to have a commercial driver's license to be able to operate and take my family to the movies or out to eat or something like that? And so I'm going through all these, I'm looking at all these different cars and all these different options. And metaphorically, I want to use this as we'll call it opportunities. And I'm going to tie this in here. So stick with me. This is a good ride here. So as I'm thinking about all these things, I come across a vehicle called a Chevy Traverse. I was like, what the hell is a Chevy Traverse? I've never even heard of one of these things before. Is that even a thing? Does that exist? And come to find out, it's basically Chevy's Dodge Durango, which is what we had. Mid-size SUV, 3 rows of seating. Like, perfect. This is interesting. I'm a Chevy guy. And so as I started doing some more research into the Chevy Traverses, like I said, never even heard of a Chevy Traverse up to this point. And I start doing more research. I start looking at the ratings, reviews, all that kind of stuff. But it doesn't just stop it there. Now I've got to go over to the YouTubes, and I got to start looking and watching people test drive these things. I want to see how tall the person is who's sitting in the driver's seat. I want to see how comfortable they are. I want to get their experience as they're driving it, their testimonial as they're driving it. And maybe you guys are the same way. I'd probably venture a guess when you go buy a vehicle, you probably don't just walk onto the lot and say, hey, I've got X amount of dollars a month to spend. Put me in whatever. You guys probably do a little bit of due diligence. There's this really interesting thing that happens. Ed Mylett talks about it. It's called your reticular activating system. In short, it's the thing that allows you to see, for lack of a better term, opportunities that are right in front of you. And when you change your reticular activating system, when you put certain things in your reticular activating system, you start to see things differently. You start to see them. They're top of mind all of a sudden. Now you see them everywhere. And what was really interesting is after I started doing a lot of due diligence and deep diving on these Chevy Traverses that have been out forever, but I had no idea what the hell a Chevy Traverse. I'd never seen one, never even heard of one. And all of a sudden I start doing a deep dive on it, start understanding what they look like and how to identify them and the different trim levels they come in and the packages. I knew it inside and out. I knew it like the back of my freaking hand. I was obsessed with it. What do you think I started seeing on the road when I started to go pick my kids up? What do you think I started seeing on the road when I would go to Walmart? Oh my gosh, Chevy Traverses all over the place. I was like, has anybody else put a 1 in the chat? If anybody else has ever experienced that, where you find out this new thing, didn't even know what it was, and then all of a sudden, they're like all over the place. I feel like it happens to me all the time. Or maybe it could be a song. Maybe you're talking to somebody and a song comes on. And then you talk to somebody else and you hear that same song, or you jump into the car, or you're in the store and that song starts playing. So crazy how that stuff happens. Guys, guess what? Just because I didn't know what a Chevy Traverse was before that, does that mean that Chevy Traverses weren't a thing just because I didn't see them? No, of course not. They were there the whole time. They were there right in front of me. They were there at the stoplight with me for years. I was driving alongside of them for years. I was passing them for years. I would park next to them at the schools or at Walmart for years and never freaking saw it. It was right in front of me and I never saw it. Guys, these 6-figure opportunities are the exact same way. It takes just as much time, energy, and effort to go make 6 figures as it does to go make $5,000. They're right in front of you. What you have to train is your ability to see them. You have to be open to it. And this is where the mindset and the self-development comes in, because these are the things that matter. These are the things that allow you to see things beyond what you would typically see or notice. So today, Chris and I want to talk about 3 things that you guys need to be cognizant of in real estate. So number one, write this down, guys. Number 1 is take action before you are ready. Oh, spoiler alert. I guess let me finish that story. I finally, after 2 years of delayed gratification and researching and looking, we found it, just never executed on it. Yesterday, we were going to go buy one a while ago, but then we found out they did a complete redo on the 2024 Traverses. And so we waited for the 2024 Traverses to get shipped up to Alaska, which of course takes another 10 years to do. So we finally went and pulled the trigger on one yesterday. So we finally, after 2 years, replaced our family vehicle. Finally took the plunge on one. So super excited, very grateful for the opportunity to be able to do that and to provide that for my family. So just wanted to share a win with you guys today, give you guys some perspective. So hopefully this kind of helped that, but we just wanted to use that as kind of an introduction today. So number 1, take action before you are ready. Chris, can you hear us, bro?
I can hear you.
There he is. What's going on, baby boy?
Nothing much, man. Nothing much.
Look at that.
It was pretty interesting. Go ahead.
I said, look at that sky. You're not in Kansas anymore, Dorothy.
Not at all. It's so funny that because we're totally opposite of the world, Alaska. Cold as shit. You got a jacket on and everything. I'm over here in a tank top. So
dude, it throws me off. I know you're in Florida, and it throws me off every time I see that. Like, oh, so jealous, dude. So jealous.
Too funny. No, it was pretty interesting that you're sharing that story because I know I came in a little bit late, like a couple minutes late, but I'm not for sure if you guys know this, but Jesse, when that accident happened, his commitment truly showed, as far as not just on a personal level, but on a business level, because a lot of times when people get into accidents or something suddenly happens in your life, the gears start turning in so many different directions. And one thing that I remember is Jesse actually reached out to his business partners at the time, which was, myself, and our team. And he stated specifically what happened. A lot of people in that situation, when they instantly get in an accident, either they lose communication with the world, they try to figure out the situation, the family and all good stuff. But when he actually reached out and tell exactly what happened, in my head, like, Jesse, take care of your family, make sure they're good and all good stuff. I understand he communicated to us what was going on, and that showed his love. That just not opened my eyes more so, but it showed me exactly where his commitment lied, not just on a personal level, but on a professional level as well, because he was letting his business partners know that, hey, I just got into an accident. We're okay, but I may be off grid. I got to handle a couple of things, and I'll get back. I'll communicate with you guys when everything was done. So I appreciate that. I won't forget that, because a lot of people won't do that. They either go, I want to say ghost. Ghost is the wrong terminology. However, the communication will disappear for quite a while, and you're probably thinking like, where's Jesse went? But no, Jesse immediately called us, and I'm like, damn. Like, dude, handle your family. You just got in an accident, like literally on the scene. Like, gotta say, you would think Jess was caught in the dispatch center to 911, and I answered the phone, but no. So I just want to say I appreciate you for that, and that was we'll never forget that, because I just like, I know other people was just without the grid, but I wasn't sure if he shared that with you, but that's something I remembered. But yeah, man, I'm excited to be here. It's very hot today, which is I'm okay. I'm so getting used to the weather versus New York and all that good stuff. And the funny part about it, we got a week left before it hits August, and the summer hasn't really hit, from what I hear. So it's gonna be pretty interesting to actually go through like the full summer and then also winter in Florida, because I'm gonna miss the snow. I know I love driving in the snow. I love that winter atmosphere. I love the tree, the decorating, and all that good stuff, the Christmas environment. However, I do got a solution for that. We're gonna have to buy a couple cabins by the end of the year to make sure so. Or maybe Alaska, maybe going to the South Pole, maybe an option. You never know.
All right, I dig it.
But yeah, I definitely need snow in my life during winter, so we'll see what that happens. Maybe I spend an entire month somewhere in the cold
in Alaska,
and possibly keep hopes alive, I guess. But yeah, man. But yeah, and also thanks for being vulnerable today. That was a lot of people probably didn't even know that about what happened a couple years ago. So
yeah, thank you, brother. Thank you, man.
Just come to Alaska if you need some. Yeah, I feel like I have been having a gun to my head for the last couple months. Somebody telling me to come to Alaska. They pulling out the K units, K9 units and stuff. But yeah, man, it's pretty neat. So yeah, the do's and don'ts. There's so many do's and don'ts in real estate, man. So many do's and don'ts, and there's like a long laundry list. Do's and don'ts, but I know there's 3 specific ones that we wanted to talk about today. And Jesse, I didn't mean to cut you off when you're going through them, so I'm gonna let you.
Oh, you're good, man. No, thank you, bro. Thank you. So, step one, like taking action before you're ready. When you look back at where you were on day 1, year 1. How would you have done your first year differently with regard to taking action before you're ready?
Woo! I would have just done it. Versus like back then, I would think I would need to know every single thing about whatever I wanted to do at that specific time or task. Like, I can't do this because I got to make sure I know this. I got to be qualified to even do it, right?
Ooh. Yeah. Talk about that for a second. Talk about that. Like when you just use that word, I feel like it just fucking hit me, dude. And I feel like that word is the best word that describes how probably most of us feel when we're not where we want to be, when we're not getting the traction because we don't feel qualified. Talk about what you would do differently, even not feeling qualified. That's so good, bro.
Yeah, man. So everyone have idols, right? Everyone has idols or people they admire or just doing the thing they want to do, right? And they probably thinking like, how did they get there? What qualifications or what courses did they actually have to go through? What did they have to can accomplish at that specific time to even be in the room with these individuals? And it got to a point where if you look in the mirror, you are qualified in your own way. You really are, because at the end of the day, like if a couple years ago, even before real estate, if I knew what I knew 10 years ago, I promise you my life it'd be so much different. And I'm very thankful for everything that happens in life. You know, I truly know that everything happens for a reason. Uh, but when it comes to like accomplishments, requirements, and qualifications, everyone has it. Everyone already have it. They, it just really is there. It's a self block, and they creating their own obstacle that's bigger than life. Truly, if you think about it yourself, you're the biggest obstacle, and a lot of people don't realize that. You don't have to be the perfect communicator. You don't have to be the perfect um, paperwork handler. You don't have to be you don't have to know all these things to the max to really be successful. You may fail, which is fine, but what if you didn't take that action? Because a lot of people think like, I don't want to mess up. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that. And it got to a point where if I would have changed what I know now, I would have took so much action back then and just done it. Probably failed every single time. However, I would have learned every single way how to fail, and then to make sure it doesn't happen in the future. And because I was that person that thought I couldn't do it because I'm not qualified. Oh, I can't be in the same room with that individual. I can't be doing this because of, they're making millions of dollars. They're making billions of dollars. But it got to a point where I'm like, you know what? No, I could be making $1 million. I can make $1 billion. Like there's like, if you really think about it, everyone that's in the chat right now, I promise you, you can't name one thing that's stopping you from making that. You can't. And I guarantee if you do provide a reasoning or excuse, it's going to reflect back on you. I don't care how many kids you have. I don't care what kind of situation is. I don't care if your accountant's in the negative. I don't care if any of that. It's a reflection of you. If you want to change your current situation, do different things. Stop being the blamer and just start taking action. If I promise you, like I always reflect, and Jesse knows this very well about me, and he does the same thing for us when it comes to reflection. And there's so many different things I would have told the 3 years ago, Chris, 10 years ago, Chris, and it's just so many different things. I would say, Chris, like, what are you doing? Why are you hanging around these people? Why are you doing this? Are they making what you want to make? Like it's a lot of different things, or what? Just surrounding myself with the right people, put myself in rooms that's uncomfortable. That's the only way you're gonna be able to push the ball forward. And a lot of people say, well, if this happened to me, if that happened to me, great. Whether it's negative, positive, I'm glad it happened to you because it was meant to happen to you. A lot of people think like, oh, it should be happening. How come this person's making this much? How come that person's making that much? Because they probably deserved it. You're not ready to receive that maybe that financial, status, or not financial status, or maybe the push in your life because you're not ready for it. And a lot of people, it's so funny. I see a lot of posts, and I used to be that guy that would post, oh, I got this deal in escrow. I'm about to, make $50,000, and then the deal dies. Why is that? Why is that really a deal dies? Not just related to business or real estate, but why does something like you think it's going to happen, but it doesn't happen? Was you meant to receive that $50,000? Do you know what to do with that $50,000? Are you going to blow that $50,000? So those all the factors that really, like, when things go wrong like that, you got to self-reflect and see, like, my biggest thing, like, it wasn't meant to be. Was it avoidable? Could have changed something? What could I have done different? There's so many different things you really got to start looking on, and that was a big component of where we at today. Because let's be honest, there's a lot of things that, as far as in Jesse and our business, things don't always go right, and that is fine. Things don't always go right. Now it'd be phenomenal if every day everything went right, but it's not the typical. It's not reality. Let's be honest. It's not reality of everything going right every single day. You got to have obstacles to grow in business. You got to have opportunities that you're going to face. That's the only way you're going to become successful. And I know I said it once before. I'm gonna say it again. I can't name one person out there that's successful, that's wealthy, that hasn't failed multiple times. Not one time, multiple times.
Amen. 100%. There's a couple things that you said there, Chris, man, that really stood out to me, that really resonated with me. And, you talk about just getting out there and failing, just getting out there and taking enough massive action and getting out there and failing. And the way that I like to look at it, and here's what's really interesting. Let me think about this for a second, guys. Let's say there's a checklist, okay, of 10 things. And there's a box next to each list to be checked off. Now, let's say that this list is called we'll call it the success tax. Okay, so this is the tax that you have to pay in order to be successful. So you have to pay the tax on all 10 things. And then you get to be successful, okay? Think about this. Visualize this with me for a second, guys. This is the success tax. We've got 10 things. Each 10 things has a box next to it. Now, what these 10 things are very specific things that you have to fail on. And the faster that you can just hurry up and fail on these things, boom, the faster you achieve your goal, the faster you hit you've paid that success tax now. But something that Chris hit on was going in and taking massive action even before you're ready, going in and failing before you're ready. Because if you have 10 of these things that you need to fail at before you can fully pay that success tax in full, and it takes you 2 or 3 years just to check off that first one might be putting out content, as an example. How long have some of you been doing real estate and you haven't put out nearly enough content that you should, because you're afraid of what you're going to say, you're afraid of how you're going to be judged, you're afraid of all these things. So you have 10 of these things that you need to get through, and it's taken you 2 or 3 years just to even check the one off. When you understand it in that frame, you start to see why people will go 5 or 10 or 15 years, 20 years, a lifetime without ever accomplishing that thing. And I want to go back and just hammer down on how important what Chris just got done saying really is in the grand scheme of things. If you can simply just go take action before you're ready, then the faster you can hurry up and pay that success tax. That's really what it comes down to. So these thoughts that we're going to have of being judged or whatever, like if I was to hand you $10 million right now and then say, okay, here's $10 million, but now you got to go post on social media. Are you really at that point? Are you going to be worried about what somebody else's negative thoughts are going to be, or what somebody's criticism is going to be? Chris and I have already experienced that, being criticized by somebody. Just part of the game. Let you know you're doing something right. That's for Chris and I, that's one of our check boxes. We've got to be doing enough. We've got to be causing enough momentum to be criticized. Boom. Cool. Got that. Got check. Done. What's next? Let's go down and hammer out this list. Some of you guys, and here's another thing that Chris talked about. Being surrounded by the right people. I know you guys have, this isn't something new for you guys. You guys have heard this 10,000 effing times now. But let this be the 10,000th and first time that you hear this, and let it really hit today, okay? Because some of you guys hear this, but you continue not doing the thing. You'll go jump on a call or spend an hour on a Zoom with somebody that's literally at the same level you are, or that's newer. And while that's great, and you should be there to serve people, you've got to put your oxygen mask on first. So what's keeping you from reaching out to people that are literally way higher than you? Because then as soon as you can get around those people, everybody else, you can serve them at a much faster rate. Nathan Harris hit the nail on the head. He said, the blind leading the blind. That's literally what most people do. Well, I don't feel like, dude, reach out to Chris and I. Like, let's freaking make some money right now. What's keeping you guys from reaching out to Chris and I? What's keeping you reaching out from people that are above Chris and I? Like whatever those thoughts are, that's keeping you from doing the thing. That's one of those things, like being uncomfortable, or maybe you don't feel worthy. And I'm just saying that because I've been that guy where I was like, man, I don't want to reach out to these guys because I feel unworthy. I don't want to take their time. I know they're doing stuff. Like, let me just figure it out on my own. I remember the very first conversation Chris and I had with somebody. It was like 7 or 8 months after our mastermind where Chris and I met. You know who I'm talking about, individual from Texas. And it would, for me, it was a little nerve-wracking because I was like, man, I am nowhere near where this individual is. And to have him come and share some of his time with us, not only share some of his time, but find a way where we could work together, where we could serve that individual. That's what it was all about. That's how you solidify relationships. You go find people that you can make money with, and that's how you solidify relationships. Chris and I actually, we have a mastermind. Chris and I put a mastermind together over this week, actually, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Chris and I put a mastermind together this week that is extremely high level. And we're the ones that took that initiative. We're the ones that we were a lighthouse, and we attracted these individuals. Not simply just because of who we are and what we do, because we did it from a place of service. Because we approach, I mean, these are people that are making $1 million a month. These are people that are making $500,000 a month. These are people that are making $300,000 a month, $400,000 a month, $750,000 a month. And we brought all of these people in, because we are able to use our skills to serve all of these individuals. 2 years ago, this isn't something that we would have done. But as people who practice what we preach, number one, you got to take action before you're ready. This is something that everybody should be doing today. Leaving this podcast today, 100% something you should be executing on regardless. And if you guys will do that, my goodness, you will see things start to skyrocket and change in your business in a way that you've never seen before. That could be one of those other things on that list. And once you hit those 10 items on your success tax sheet, you've paid the tax. You've done the uncomfortable things, you have failed, and now you get to be successful. Now you get to be worthy of making that money that you want to make. Because you know how to serve, you know how to lead, you know how to communicate. By doing and checking all these things off, you've acquired the skills from failing and knowing what not to do. So now you know what to do. And so I really want you guys to put those things into perspective. Think about all the things that are keeping you back. Think about the things that are on your success tax sheet. For some of you guys, there might be 5 things on that list. Some of you guys, there might be 20 items on that list. And if you have one thing that's keeping you back, how many years are you drawing out where you could be by simply taking action today? I love what Allison said right here. You don't have to make the decision. You just have to make the decision right. One of the things that Chris and I have found out, as you guys know, we do a lot of self-reflection. A lot of people in business think that when they make a decision, they compare it to making a decision in school. So when you did a test, when you took a test or you took a quiz, there was only one right answer. Let me tell you right now, Chris will tell you the exact same thing. Business is not like that. When you have a decision to make, there isn't just one right answer. When you're afraid of failing because you don't know what that one right answer is, that's not how it works. There's infinite answers and they're all right. Chris, anything else to add or touch on, or anything before we move to number 2?
I think they hit the nail right on the head, guys. Just when you're in a situation, you got to make a decision. Just make it. Just make it. And then perfect it. That's all to it. Maybe a good decision, maybe a bad decision. But you trust me, you'll find out very quick if it's good or bad. But when you come across that, just make sure you pivot and perfect it. That's all.
Here's a really interesting comment. The most powerful thing I've heard you gentlemen say, if I gave you $10 million, would you go do it? Would you be willing to do it? Pretend or imagine you're there already. You know what, Dick? I love this, bro. Let me even take it a step further real quick. Let's say Chris and I handed you a check for $10 million. I want everybody to do this exercise with me real quick. Close your eyes. Everybody close your eyes right now. Wherever you are, close your eyes. You don't have to leave the room or anything like that. This isn't going to be a big meditation thing. I just want you to close your eyes real quick. I want you to think about this. You get a check for $10 million. It's in your hand. You're feeling it. You're touching it. It's real right now. And as it's coursing through your in between your fingers, I want you to think about all the things you're going to do with that $10 million. I want you to think about all the ways you're going to serve your family. I want you to think about all the ways you're going to help other people with it. Maybe you're going to retire your parents. Maybe you're going to help out charities. Maybe you're going to help your kids' school. Maybe you're going to better your community with it. And once you have a clear vision on what it is you're going to do with it, maybe you're going to buy yourself a bigger house. Give your kids more space. Maybe do something for your wife. And I want you to think about, as you're thinking about all these things, I want you to think about how you're going to feel about that. I'll tell you, Chris, I bought a Traverse yesterday. I would go buy a Lambo.
Oh, God.
Now you take that check and you go over to the bank. You're hoppity, you're skipping. You've got your Bon Jovi tunes on. You're singing Living on a Prayer to the completely out of key if you're me. But you are happy as hell. And you go give that check to the teller. And the teller says, hey, congratulations on making this. This check will be deposited in your account in 10 days. It won't clear for another 10 days. Now, leaving the bank, that feeling that you feel now, that is that 10.0 version of you. That is your highest and best self. That's the energy you need to be emitting as often as you can. Because you don't have the money yet. The money's coming. The check will be there. The check will be cleared in 10 days. So the feelings that you feel for those 10 days, you don't have the money yet, but it's there. It's yours. I want you to think about the confidence that you would exude. I wanted you to think about the way that you would communicate. I want you to think about, if somebody was to criticize you, would you really give two shits what that person has to say? Because at that moment, then you really start to understand that you will only be criticized by people doing less than you. You will never be criticized by people doing more than you.
100%.
Nobody knows that better than Chris and I. So I want you guys to think about that, because that leads into number 2, building your tribe. Chris and I kind of touched on this a little bit. Chris, what would you do differently when it comes to building your tribe? We've touched on it a little bit. Is there anything you would expand on? Or
guys, everyone is not a good fit for your tribe. Let's just be honest. When building a tribe, you may get a significant amount of people that say, oh yes, perfect. 10 people in your tribe, 13, 15 people. Everyone want to become a magnet because it's a tribe. Well, they say tribe or whatever that looks like, but no. Tribes should be very, very niche. It should be very, now that should be a requirement. I think building a tribe, building your network and the people that's around it, this is essential, because a lot of people will say, oh, let's form a group, let's have an accountability group. about, I hear people that got accountability groups out there got like 10 and 15, 20 people. Like, really? How productive are you guys really being? Like, is that really your tribe, or is that just conversations, or is that just gossip you guys are doing on a daily basis? What does that really look like?
Yeah.
Versus tribe, you guys, you should be trying to put people that's well, one, you should be finding people that's trying to elevate each other. Two, have different uniques. Three, the fact of understand exactly their skill level. What value can they really bring to the table? Now, I know I could get very niche. I know there's different versions of tribe, but one thing, and I know we read it as far as in our private mentorship, like Tribes of Millionaires. If you relate it to that a little bit, guys, just think about it. The people that you're communicating with on a daily basis, whether that's phone, text, email, are they pushing you? Are they bettering you? I mean, bettering you as a person, personally and professionally? Or are they just taking from you? They just taking. So you really got to reflect and understand, like, when you're building a tribe, it won't be 10 or 15, 20 people, guys. It's going to be very, very small, very unique individuals. You're talking about maybe 3, 4, maybe 5 individuals that you know for a fact are going to be there consistently. And they're going to be there as not an investment as regards to financial, but investment, and they're going to invest in you. Because when people think about investing, they always think about, it's got to be related to money. It's got to be doing this. You got to be doing, no. When someone invests in you, it doesn't have to be always related to money. Are they consistently investing themselves to what you're saying on a daily basis, understanding exactly what you're trying to do in life? Are they really valuing the relationship there? And those individuals you want to keep around, because if they've been consistent and they understand exactly on a professional and a personal level what you're trying to accomplish, the sky is the limit. So I know I went on a tangent there. Sorry, Jesse.
No, you did, dude. This was all good, dude. That was all great.
But when building tribe, that's what one thing I would have changed back in the day. Because back in the day, when people, we get together, I'm just gonna say, we gossip, right? We gossip. It was unproductive. Like 4, 5, 6 years ago, like, I'll go to a dinner and it'd be like 10 of us. We having a great time. We laugh and joking, but we wasn't making money. We wasn't trying to find new opportunities. We wasn't trying to see exactly where we see ourselves in the next few years. Why talk about the next person that's doing better? Why talk about all these different things that's really irrelevant? Because of the fact, if I was still in that same situation, I probably wouldn't be on the Zoom right now. I mean, not Zoom, but this live right now. I probably wouldn't be in Florida right now. So I'm very thankful that I got into the right spaces. I'm very blessed to just be around those people, know who they are, and just being introduced into the real estate realm, being at the dinner table. I told you guys in a few podcasts before, with the Cody Sperber at that dinner. At that time, that's a perfect example of feeling I thought I wasn't worthy enough being there. I didn't have Cody Sperber pockets or Cole Haddock's pockets or all these individuals' pockets at the time, many, many years ago. But just imagine being in that space where you're at a table of literally 8 or 9 people, and everyone at that table is making millions of dollars faithfully, monthly or on a quarterly basis. Those are the people you need to be around. Those are the tribes you need to be building. And I'm very thankful to be just at the table. Barely made it there, but I got there at that
time. It's really interesting, man, that I used to think, the way that I grew up thinking about money and failure and risk and all that kind of stuff, it took me a while before I was willing and able to put money into something to better myself. because I looked at it. The first question I thought was like, what if it doesn't work? What if I fail at it? And it's really interesting now. I'm constantly trying to find like where else can I spend my money just to get into higher rooms. Like that's as simple as I can put it. Like you spend money with the intention of going in there to build your tribe, you're automatically above everybody else who's more curious than committed. Like everybody else. Like that's almost kind of why there's a 99% or a big factor in it, I would say, at least in my experience, versus a 1% is simply just because you have 99% of people are thinking about the failure side of things. Like if I just need to figure it out on my own. I need to get on YouTube University more. I need to do all these things. I don't want to pour money into getting around people that are making money. That wouldn't make any sense. And I think that's one of the biggest things that I've learned is that's the fastest way to build your tribe and to get super intentional with growing and expanding your circumstances, is getting around people that are doing the thing and willing to invest in themselves.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And then number 3, plan your day with intention. Now, Chris, you're a busy guy. I mean, you alone own what, 5 businesses, 4 or 5 different businesses?
Yeah.
Tell me about how you plan your day. How do you execute like that versus how you started out? What are some of the things that you use to prioritize the things that need to get done? And do you spread yourself evenly across all 5 businesses? Or when bottlenecks and things come up, do you go all in and attack that kink one at a time and just knock it out as fast as possible, and then attack each one with 100% effort? Like, how do you move and how do you plan out your day?
That's a great question, because years ago, I was a paper pen guy. Like, I'm still paper pen today, but paper pen magic.
Not that long ago.
Right. Not that long ago. That is hilarious. I kid you not, like I had about 6 or 7 notebooks. And the notebook specifically, I kid you not, like I had one for this business, this one for that business, one for this business. And it got to a point where I'm like, Jesus, I have to do something that it's not just a to-do list on a day, it's not a checklist, but I had to create something specifically for how to manage it, which it came to a calendar. I got about 4 or 5 different calendars and I merged all them together. It really keeps me in line as far as what I really need to do on a day-to-day basis. And especially the rental car company. And then I'm very thankful for not just the rental car company, but the TC business. I'm finding the right people. It's helped me a lot. I can't thank the people that helped me build it. I can't thank enough. Angel Miller, the perfect example. She gives me the ability to actually go work on the other businesses, because I 1,000,000% have no doubt in my mind, know that she's doing what she needs to do to take care of the business. So I do got to thank her, and also my other business partners, like yourself. Everyone. Like, I got so many different businesses that you got to think about. A lot of people think like, how can you run one business, or how can you run 3, 4, 5? But to be honest, you can't run it by yourself. I can't run a business without having the right people and building my tribe. In my tribe, essentially, Jesse, James, Angel. I just can't run it without them. But to keep it more so organized, I had to build a calendar. I had to put everything in the calendar and look at exactly where my Zooms at, because I have so many different Zooms a day, a week, month. It gets out of hand, where how can you really keep track of it? And it got to a point where I haven't nailed down where as soon as I open my eyes every morning, I know exactly how many Zooms I have. I know exactly they're already booked out. And I don't have to worry about, okay, if this person's going to show up, because I know these Zooms I'm booking are individuals who's looking to do business. And that's key, because a lot of people book Zooms and network with a lot of people, but why have to what if factor if this person's going to show up? You don't have time for that. Let's be honest. Let's throw out some of the greats out there. You know, Pace Morby, Grant Cardone. Do you think Grant Cardone is going around booking Zoom meetings and seeing about somebody just going to show up? No. He's booking those with intentionality, knowing those individuals on the other side is going to show up to that Zoom with intentionality. And calendar became very important. Do I still use pen and paper? Some things, yes. I'm just old school. Like if I write it down, it stays in my brain. It stays in my brain a lot longer versus if I just try to type it out and all this good stuff. Do I eventually move it over from paper to the computer? 100%. However, managing all the aspects of all these different businesses, it's just the big key component is really knowing exactly how it's ran and how to really execute. And not just that, like it's a great thing to know how to execute, but you got to have a plan of action. Like a plan of action, meaning like you got to have a plan of action of what happens if plan A goes wrong. Then you go and you roll into plan B, but if plan B goes wrong, what's your plan C? And I'm always about 5-6 steps ahead, no ifs or buts about it. And you have to plan like that because you want plan A always to work out. But let's be honest, like as I stated in the beginning, I can't name one successful, wealthy, or rich. I'm not going to say the word rich. I'm going to say wealthy individual who has not failed multiple times. So one thing I really love is just the fact of the people I'm surrounding myself with. I'm communicating with them on a daily basis of what that looks like, and things is not going to be always perfect, guys. You're gonna face a lot of obstacles. If a business is not facing obstacles, then you really gotta self-reflect and like, okay, what's really going on here? What's really going on here? Because it's amazing where I'm at today. I'm very blessed and thankful where I am today. And yes, these businesses are growing, but at the same time, from a year from now, 2 years from now, 3 years from now, I probably will have about 10 businesses. And a big reflection of it is just really understanding that the only way you can have these businesses is having the right people in those businesses. A lot of people go to Indeed. A lot of people go into Craigslist. A lot of people want to find their business partners on the all these different sites and stuff. And at the end of the day, it's gonna be rare to find a great candidate. It's gonna be very rare. You got to do a lot of vetting, ask them uncomfortable questions, which a lot of people don't. You got to challenge them a little bit. Challenge them meaning pushback. You got to find that right individual that's going to be aligned and understand exactly what your goals are, and not just your goals, but what the culture really looks like. Because maybe the person you're trying to bring into your business or partner with has a different motive. Not in a negative way. It may be positive, but they're thinking totally different. And it's okay. That's why, I know Jesse mentioned a few times about, you got to date somebody before you actually go into a partnership. And that's true because you never know. You never know what their motives are. And it may be in great intent, but it's not the alignment you're looking for. So sometimes you got to have those uncomfortable conversations, sometimes more than once, just to let them know, like, hey, this may not be a good fit for what we're trying to accomplish. There's other ways you can JV or work together, other ways you can make money, but sometimes you really have to really understand exactly before you start hiring somebody or partner with somebody, what do you really want in life? And then reverse engineer. Once you really figure out exactly what that looks like and put it on paper, not just in your head, but put it on paper, or it don't have to be, when I say paper, guys, it could be in a computer on notes, whatever you guys utilize. So once you start putting pen to paper, reverse engineer and see exactly who you need or who can actually bring that value you're looking for into the company that you're trying to build. And that's where it got me to say where I do have all these businesses now, and they have different variations of it. I would never thought I would own a rental car business. Never in a million years. Never crossed my mind. Never crossed my mind at all. I would never thought be running a mentorship with Jesse. I would never thought that. There's a lot of different things in life, guys. it makes you think what you're truly capable of doing. It's really, if you think about it, as I said at the beginning, guys, it's only you that's holding yourself back. Everyone think you may not be qualified. Other people may be looking down on you. People looking down on me on a daily basis, and I'm pretty sure the same for Jesse. They look down on us on a daily basis, and I kid you not, I don't dwell on them. I don't dwell on those individuals, because at the end of the day, I'm going to achieve what I want to achieve, and I'm going to get it with the right people. So what I mean is, with the next few years, we will probably own about 10 different businesses. It's great. We will. I'm not saying that tongue in cheek. I'm literally saying that we will own about 10 different businesses. So I hope that answers your question.
Oh, 100%, dude. 100%. There's absolute gold there, man. I love that you said just having clarity on what it is that you're trying to do, because in my experience, whether you're bringing somebody in as a business partner, whether you're bringing somebody else just into your business, into your company, there isn't a foolproof way of making sure that they're 100% the right person.
Right.
And I think that, like you said, the best place to start is by having clarity on what is it that you're even trying to do. I know so many people have came to you and I and said, "Hey, I'm looking for a partner. Where should I make a post about it? Should I, like that's like their primary thing. They have no clarity on what it is they're even trying to accomplish, or what it is they're even looking at in a partner.
Yeah.
In what way is that person going to complement what it is that you're doing, or are you guys even in alignment?" And so I love that you said that, dude. Just having clarity on those two things will just shave years off. For the longest time, when I used to bring somebody into our business, and when we first started bringing people into our business, for the longest time, dude, when things didn't go right, like I thought it was them that was the problem, and it wasn't. It was me, because I didn't have clarity on what it is that we were looking for. And I think a lot of people find themselves in that exact same situation where they bring people in out of either it's convenient. I know this person says they've got X amount of time to do, whatever.
Yeah.
And those experiences have transformed the way that we operate now and the company culture that we've created. And it's done wonders, man. Being able to include everybody in what it is that we're doing, and making alignment for what everybody else wants to accomplish, and making it a priority, both personally and in the business, what they want to accomplish, and making it align with, their role within the company and the things that we're wanting to do. So having clarity in that, and like you mentioned, intentionality it's got to be a non-negotiable. It's got to be one of those things that's high on the priority list. Don't start going out and finding people out of scarcity and convenience. Find those people that align with you. Like we've talked about, three big takeaways today, guys. Take action before you are ready. If you have 10 things that you need to fail on so you can officially hit that success button, the longer that you draw these things out, I mean, these could be simple stuff. Take action before you're ready. Do the thing and pay the success tax. Number 2, build your tribe. Nothing will impact your business more. Write this down. Nothing will impact your business more than the quality of your relationships. You owe it to yourself to put your oxygen mask on. Go get uncomfortable. Check off another one of those boxes. Go build a relationship with somebody who's clearly well ahead of you. Go find a way to create opportunity, build and develop that relationship, make some money together. And as you elevate, as you start making more money and growing your business, now that's when you reach down and you grab everybody else and you pull them up with you. And number 3, plan your day with absolute intention. Prioritize. Time block. Manage your time well. It's not about the things that you say yes to that will make you money. It's about everything you say no to. Because in addition to Chevy Traverses being out on the road, They've got Impalas, they've got F-150s, they've got Rams, they've got Durangos. I mean, they got everything else out on the road too. So it's very vital and important that you are cognizant and clear on what it is that you're trying to do, so that you can take the necessary action and you can bring the right people in, and the things that you're going to execute on every single day are actually going to be in alignment with the result that you're after. Chris, did I miss anything? Anything else you want to add before we part for the day? Oh, Chris and I have, for those of you guys that are in Sub 2, we do a Zoom inside of Sub 2 every single Saturday at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. If you guys are in there, make sure you guys head on over there. Zoom link is on the calendar. We will see you guys in there.
No, I think you hit the nail right on the head, man. Guys, just remember, don't let yourself get in the way of anything. No one else is doing it. It's just yourself. But until next time, guys, we'll be here next Saturday at 1:30. And guys, we appreciate you very much.
Thanks for listening to the House of Cards podcast with Chris James and Jesse Stanton. We hope you've enjoyed this episode and have learned something new about real estate investing. Be sure to follow us on Facebook and Instagram for more tips and tricks. And don't forget to subscribe on your favorite podcast platform so you never miss an episode. Until next time.